I have never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, never, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, never, never, sever, kever, lever, wever, hever, shever, dever, mever, pever, zyever, yever, aver, cadaver, mever, siver, liver, dever, baver, daver, seaver, haver, kiver, kever, kiver, kever, heezer, haver, piver, pever, daver, liver, paver, pever, waver, 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 laver, wiver, waver. Hello there, I'm Matthew Hawker of The Matt Hawker Show. Unfortunately, the old Matt Hawker has passed. I'm the new solemn Matthew Hawker, also known as Melancholy Matt. I just wanted you to know that the show's entertainment value will still be just as entertaining as it was before. And furthermore, we will make sure the comedy expectations remain exceeded. So without further ado, here's a joke called The Door. A boy opens a door. The door hits the boy. The boy goes, "Oh boy, not another door." The door goes, "Hey kid." The boy goes, "What?" The door goes, "Do you want to go inside?" The boy goes, "Oh boy, I do." The door goes, "Well, you can't," and slams shut. The boy goes, "Oh boy." Wasn't that funny, everyone? Thank you, listeners, for appreciating my joke. I'm Melancholy Matt, and hey there, welcome to the Matt Hawker Show. I'm Matt Hawker. Thank you, Melancholy Matt, for standing in there for a moment. I took care of that problem, though, so don't worry. It's going to be all entertaining all the time from here on out. That is right, raw, magical, nipple-hardening comedy. We are talking in essence like no other. We are talking sounds, vibrations, and currencies that cannot be expressed in the normal mundane forms that you are so used to. We are talking about a market manipulation of the humor factories of the United States of Matt. Yeah, God, that was great. And you know what else is great? This interview, which I'm going to have on right now. So why don't you all sit back, sit back, kicking it real, kick back, sit back, relax, get toasty, put your feet in a toaster oven so they can get nice and crunchy. You know what I'm saying, folks? That's right. Break out that PB and G. You know what I mean? Because you are cool cat. Which G is spelled with in cat for cool gat. PB and gat. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, here's that interview faux show. Hey there, welcome to the Matt Hawker Show. I'm Matt Hawker. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, man?
You know, I am doing fantastic, spectacular, wonderful, and all those things in between. So as a note, I don't know anything about you. I've never met you in my life. I don't know where you come from. And a lot of those things I'm not going to ask you about because we have no time to do that today. Instead, I'm just going to ask for what podcast you run, what you're all about, and what is your favorite furry porn. Go.
Wow. Okay. So I am Rhett Hall. I am the fearless leader of the Braintrust Bros network, which is a media hosting podcast community, and I run that portion. And I also run the Braintrust Brothers podcast, which is super original of a name, I know, where I chat with somebody once a week. I have conversation, and you get to be the fly on the wall, and I learn about people and try to find out what motivates them to do what they do.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rhett. What was your last existential crisis?
I think I'm having it right now, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do about that? Do you want to like sit down and we can just like massage each other for a little while, see where that goes?
So the problem is that I don't know that I exist, so I don't know how much you're actually going to be massaging. I don't know if I'm actually here or not.
Why do you think Hitler loved animals so much?
You know, I think that he really identified with the spirit of animals, with the nature of animals. I mean, that would explain why he thought that he was the alpha predator. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense at all. That's fine, though. It makes sense to me, but also I don't exist, so I think it's okay.
Did you want some of these, by the way?
Yeah. Is it a Cool Ranch?
Oh no! What are you, insane? Cool Ranch. Look, these are
if it's not Cool Ranch, I don't want it, so I don't really care what you're eating, honestly.
Oh no! You know, it's I don't like Cool Ranch. I don't really think it's cool. I call it Loser Ranch actually because it's a loser. Sometimes I take Loser Ranch out back and I just beat it senselessly.
It sounds like you're projecting on your snack of choice, my friend.
No. This isn't. Well, I mean, I'm projecting violence onto it with my fists, but that's it.
Gotcha.
So, next question here. This is actually from our listener, Celery. Celery asks, "What is and why?" Go ahead.
Yes, and because.
Thank you. Next up, what is your favorite pizza topping? Go ahead. You have 5 seconds. Go. 5, 4,
toppings.
3, 2, 1. All right. What is your second favorite pizza topping? Ready, set, go. 5, 4,
Mold.
3. Wrong. That is the wrong answer. I'm sorry. You've been disqualified from the show, but you can earn yourself back in with this one bonus question. Are you sitting down?
No.
Perfect. Okay. Don't sit down.
Okay.
My question is, will you sit down?
Yes.
Congratulations. You're back on the show. Welcome to the Matt Hawker Show. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing well. So what kind of podcast do you run? Tell me about your show. What do you do?
I like to have conversations with people and get to know people. Do
you think we will ever end the nuclear regime of Elephant the Elephant?
I really don't think that we should, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Any reason why? Anything in particular?
Under attack, they don't do well under attack, and they're always constantly under attack. And I feel like they just need to have some kind of way of leveling the playing field. And
that's a really good point.
And by leveling the playing field, I mean completely leveling it to the ground with nuclear weapons.
I see. Are you a fan of any kind of microorganism? Would you ever date a microorganism? And which one would you choose and why? Go ahead.
I think a rogue amoeba. If you know what those are, I really.
No. I know. I actually have a couple brothers that are rogue amoebas. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been around for sure.
Can I get their number, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll forward that to you after the show. No problem at all. No issue whatsoever. I guess really this comes down to like, what would they be wearing? You know, like, would you guys like dance a little? Like, what's happening here?
I like to get the motion going. Amoebas like to move around and get going, and they really like Latin music, which is fantastic for movement and for really kind of getting funky and getting into those hip movements, which is just that's their bread and butter. Which.
Right. So when you think of a rogue amoeba, you think of funky hips. Like that's what it immediately goes to.
Yeah, and I know your brothers, one of your brothers specifically has really funky hips.
Okay, no, that's true. That is a true statement. Yeah. I can't deny that, and it turns out that you know more about my life than I do at this point. So I gotta ask you, what is one of your favorite parts of me? You know, what do you like about me? Go ahead, tell me about myself a little bit here.
I really like your voice. I really like how it kind of brings you in and sort of nestles you right in those warm tones and sensuous tones.
I do have some sensuous tones, yes. Just like my brothers, but they're more they have like funky hip tones. Yes. I have warm nestling tones.
Yes.
which is as you just explained. So that's definitely something that's true. Do you think I'll ever become a world famous traveling nomadic prostitute? Go ahead.
I hope so. I really do. I think the world needs more of those, for one, but specifically you, because of how you nestle people into your tones. Specifically, I think you would do very well, and I think a lot of people would be very welcomed, and very. It would benefit people very much to be able to be nestled in your tones.
No, I definitely want some people nestled in my tones.
And if you can make money doing it, man, I mean, by all means, make some money.
I don't want to make money from it, honestly. Like, I feel like nestling people in my tones is sort of me giving back to the world.
Gotcha.
It's part of my my mantra, so to speak. It's the Tao of Matt, frankly. I want to bring people in. I want to nestle them in my tones, and then I want to put them to sleep. Rub their heads a little bit, and maybe throw them outside in the cold afterwards, because that's all I'm going to give them. And that's what I'm about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're a real cold ass honky though. I really respect that.
No, hey, I respect you, and thank you for being on the show. A show of respect and mutual understanding. I feel like you and I have become one in a way. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to impose that onto you. I'm just, I feel like when I look into your voice that I see with my ears, I see someone who is me. Like, I feel like I'm looking into a mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Ear sight is 30/70.
Yeah, it really is, and I appreciate that. Anyway, thank you for being on the show today. I feel like we covered a lot of ground today. I appreciate you being on, and I hope you understand that I've been talking out of my knees the whole time, and that's why I'm a strange person who is has knee-jerk reactions, and I needed you to know that.
I just want you to know that I appreciate you nestling me in your tones.
Hey, always. Tell you what, next time you're in Zimbabwe, I will nestle you in those tones like no other.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to nestle myself into some tones for a while, and then after all of that, I might nestle my tones, and then my tones will be nestled in a nestly tone of nestled tones. And when all the tones are nestled together, it's going to be so nestled and relaxing and so soothing and deep that my voice will just be nestled, and we're all going to take a nap together, and it's going to be beautiful and brilliant and nestled tones. And the tones are going to be so nestled, and they're going to be nestled, and the nestled tones are just going to be nestled together,
and they're going to be nestled. The tones will be nestled together, and they'll be so nestled and great, and the nestly tones will be nestled together. Nestled tones. I
gotta tell you guys, I gotta be honest with you here, and I'm never really honest on this show, but this is probably going to be the first bit of honesty that I have. I don't think the dinosaurs are ever real, and I don't mean this in like a they never existed sort of situation. I just don't think they were real. I definitely think they existed. I think dinosaurs walked the earth. I just don't think they were real. And part of that is because I'm generally of the opinion that dinosaurs were and still are holograms. And even their bones in the museums to this day are also holograms. And in fact, everything before, I would say maybe 1648 is a hologram that isn't real. So a lot of the things that predated that era were just holograms. And basically, through that sort of technological, whatever you want to call it, we came to be. And I realize this is sort of a controversial opinion. I know that not a lot of scientists are backing this yet, but I know some are. But I think really that's the gist of it. I don't think the dinosaurs were real, but I do think they existed. And I think that is an important thing that we really need to work into our museums and our curriculums, specifically biology. And even today now, we have things that, don't exist, or rather, they just, they do exist, but they're not real. And I think that's important to note. I think a couple examples that come to mind are tomatoes, Bob Ross, and the entire Dr. Seuss book collection. None of these things are real. They exist, but they're definitely not real. And that's something that's very important that I think we need to start making an effort to clarify. And before on a previous episode, I talked about the Tomato King. And I think that's something that sort of ties into all of this. Tomato King, as I'm sure most of my more perceptive listeners know, it isn't something that is real, but it does exist. And these are certain qualities that I'm trying to work as hard as I can to establish. I encourage scientists to link together, to form communities, to talk about holograms pre-1648, and we can really get into this. And I'd like to make a new term for this, quite frankly, something persuasive to latch onto. I know that the Catholics, did the whole BC thing and then AD thing, which helped bring awareness to attention deficit disorder and also helped lead to the forming of the word because. But I want to try to do something a little different. I'd like to maybe start something like, I don't know, hollow grandpa, like hollow grandpa, like that was the era then. So that was the hollow grandpa, and now we're in the... Oh, I don't know. I guess there still are some holograndpas out there. So maybe, no, I think holograndpa is a good fit. But maybe something like post-holograndpa, so we could do like post-HG. So that could be something maybe. That's definitely something to work on. There's a lot of things that we have now that we wouldn't have in a hologram era, such as pretty much any kind of therapy you can think of, like physical therapy, physical farm therapy, hormone therapy, rabbit therapy, hopscotch therapy, psychological therapy, Freudian slip therapy, podcast host therapy, therapy for therapists, the third, those who are the third in line of a long line of therapists and that have the same job in consecutive order, presidential therapy, and hologram therapy, which is, something that's new. We wouldn't have had that in the hologram era because holograms ruled the world. And now that we're past this, now that we've moved on from this sort of dystopian past, I really think we can start following a greater future. And that's something I'm really hoping to access. And speaking of dystopian past, have you ever noticed that in media, we never have any kind of like dystopian media for the previous eras? It's always about the future, like the future is gonna suck, or everyone's gonna be burning in the future, or nuclear pigs will be eating your nostrils in the future. But it's never the past. There's no nuclear pigs in the past eating nostrils. It's always the future. And I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why do we have nuclear pigs in dystopian futures but not the past? We had plagues back then. We had the freaking armies of horsemen and centaur peoples just slaying each other. We had dish soap being rubbed in the eyes of jesters and plague doctors eating onions and breathing onto poor people. Those were all things we had back then that are just ignored today by dystopian filmmakers, and it bothers me. Are we so scared of the hologram era, of the holograndpas, that we can't make media that depicts these things honestly? Who knows? Maybe I'm not the right person to judge this sort of thing. Maybe, in the grand scheme of things, I'm just your average guy, just making average statements that are, part of the things that average people say. I don't think I'm saying anything radical here today. In fact, I think most of my language is part of a social norm that is captured through my essence and regurgitated to you. And you have probably already heard it because you're thinking the same things. There's nothing here that's groundbreaking, but it is skybreaking because we've ascended beyond the people beneath the norm. You know what I mean? Like we are flying through the plains right now, and not just the grassy knolls of Wisconsin, but we are flying through the grassy knolls of the United States Air Force. All of their jets, their bombers, whatever you want to call them, we're just going right through them right now, ideologically, through the mind. I think that's a very important thing to depict here. And these are these are things that wouldn't have happened during the holograndpa era. These are real. These aren't just things that exist, but they're real. They're powerful. They're passionate. They're loving. You could just take their pants off and have consensual sex with them, if that's what you're into, but only if they say yes, because we can't just do it with these ideas. We can't just get in there. We have to covet these ideas like one covets a dapper hand wearing a glove or a soft, fleshy armpit. These are things that we have to earn. And that's important to know. It's not like you can just go up to some beautiful idea and just make them love you. You have to love them first. And then you have to buy their love with eccentric, exquisite rarities from third world countries that they would have never seen before you toppled villages to earn your right into this idea's heart. This is something that I think we can all work on together. And I think if we all come together to flirt with ideas and to try to win them over using some sort of group mating ritual, maybe, just maybe, we can make these ideas into the reality we want to live in, not just the reality we wished we lived in. And as you all know, wishes come true if you believe in wishes. Anyway, thank you for listening to the show today. I'm Matt Hawker. I had a pleasure having you all on. Everyone was here today. The entire population's been sitting behind me this entire time. Round of applause to you guys. Thank you so much for being around. Awesome work, guys, being silent. It's really hard to keep the entire world silent, I'm not going to lie. A lot of babies had to be put down. A lot of old people had to be like rubber banded, their mouths together so they wouldn't say anything. It was a little weird, but hey, look, we got to do what we got to do. Anyway, you can find me on Patreon if you feel like donating $1 or a soda pop. If you want to mail me a soda pop, you can do that on Patreon. If you are interested in following me on social media, I am on Facebook and Twitter at facebook.com/The Matt Hawker Show and twitter.com/Matt Hawker Show. Finally, you can find me on Podchaser, which is an exquisite website to review and critique podcasts like mine and make us hate ourselves and also make us hate you if that's what you're into. No judgment. I get it. No problem. No worries. Whatever. You're great. Thank you. Anyway, as we all know, journals are something that we can keep deep into ourselves and bury them within our bodies so that no one ever can read them. And we do this because we don't want historians to know our secrets. So remember, before you die, cut yourself open, bury your journals and private notes deep within your soul and within your heartstrings, tie them and weave them together using your arteries and just stuff them in there so that no one reads that crap because you don't want anyone in the future knowing your past. Thank you.